Well, hi folks. Here we are in a most magnificent place, Taupo Bay, in very nearly at the very top of the North Island of New Zealand. Beautiful spot, lovely day, and we're here to paint a series of little sketches just to show you how I, over the years, have got myself going. You know those times when you run out of inspiration and you think, oh, I need to be painting and I want to paint, but you can't find anything to paint, and when you do try, the paint won't flow, and you just feel out of sorts with the whole thing. And yet you know darn well that you've done good pictures before or pictures that showed growth, and here you are going backwards, as it were. So I've found one of the ways I can get out of all that is to get out on the spot, much better outdoors, where you've got different lights and shades and atmosphere all the time. It's constantly changing, rather than being stuck in a studio. And I set myself a time limit for each little sketch. And I've done this quite a few times over the years. And often it's after you've had a layoff. And I've just had a long layoff, actually, after we shifted house and so on. And so I've needed to do this to get myself going again. I give myself usually about 20 minutes to half an hour maximum, and I'll set up a couple of canvases like this. Sometimes I'll put a bigger one up and do 4. And if I'm doing 4, I'll perhaps give myself just 20 minutes a shot and really push. And when the time is up, the 20 minutes is up, then I stop. And it doesn't matter whether you're finished or not. You're trying to improve your mixing, the application of the paint, seeing the light and shade, showing how you feel about it, trying to look expressive with your brush strokes. All those things are happening, but you're forcing yourself to do them as quickly as possible because you know you're going to run out of time. And it's self-imposed, and you've got to be strict on yourself. And sort of not think, oh, blow it, I'm enjoying this, I'll keep going. No, get on to the next one. Because ideas start to come, and I've often found after doing this, I might have 4 pictures on there, and I'll look at them and I'll think, well, the first 2 are rubbish, really. But you accept that because here you are trying to get started again. And the 3rd one shows slight improvement, and you look at the 4th one and you think, oh, it's starting to work. And sometimes I've done that for 2 days. I remember one time in Coromandel when I did this, and it took me 2 days to get going. But after that 2 days, I produced, I think, some of the best pictures I've done in my whole life. And so I feel it works, and if it works for you too, that'll be absolutely great. One of the things that I've found over the years that is the urge to produce clean colour has affected my palette, and I've done a lot of research, seeing what other painters use and trying various colours, and I've discovered that there are some colours that help you to avoid mud, and there are others that readily make mud. Winsor blue red shade, Venetian red, Winsor green, titanium white, and over here we've got cadmium lemon and cadmium yellow pale, gold ochre, cadmium orange, permanent rose, cadmium red, which I hardly ever use, and magenta. Now these colours I've found are very pure. As you'll have noticed, a lot of them are cadmiums, and of course they're very expensive, they're artist quality. I recommend that whether you're an amateur or a professional painter, you're better to use good colour. It makes the world of difference. Now we're into reflections. Now you'll remember that a dark will be slightly lighter in the reflection and a light will be slightly darker. Did I say that right? A dark will be slightly lighter and a light will be slightly darker. In other words, water is not a perfect reflector. It's not like a mirror. It can be. On very odd occasions I've seen it where you couldn't tell the difference between the light or the dark and what was being reflected. But usually there is a tonal difference. Sometimes it pays too when you, just cleaning that brush off, if you've plonked a few bits of rock into the surf, say, just feather over them with that supposedly clean brush. Just soften them off a wee bit. We're at a spot called Lang's Beach, which is a little south of Whangarei in New Zealand. When I go looking for subjects to paint, I don't want to do a photo representation. I want to do more than that. I want to convey some abstraction and design sense and all those sort of qualities, so that it becomes a painting, not an attempt at extreme realism or anything like that. And so I'm going to show you now what I have in mind for this particular scene. So I'm going to reduce the size of this rock a little so it all fits. This is running out on this side. I'd rather keep this inside and show a wee bit of foam in here. Notice when I put the island in, I slashed it in quite quick, and now I am adjusting its shape slightly. And that's the easier way to do it. And there we have it. That's a good exercise. Notice I'm not trying to carefully paint those in. You don't. If you're going to paint in an impressionistic manner, you don't want it then to start looking like an attempt at a photograph where it's all carefully done and perfectly positioned and all that sort of stuff. It's got to feel a wee bit as if you were free to do what you wanted. Sometimes you can ruin a beaut effect that you had by starting to alter it to try and keep up with the changing light, and you shouldn't do that. And quite often you're with somebody, and I can think of 2 occasions where this has happened. You're with somebody and they're whistling and singing and having a great old time, and you're feeling absolutely desperate. And on 2 of those occasions that I can think of, the thought occurred to me, this painting is it's not the end of your life if it's a failure. So why don't you just throw a bit of paint on and see what happens, and what do you know?